Okay.
Hey, we're back, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I don't know what happened. The camera just stopped working and it froze up and technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties, please hold on.
Yes, exactly. One moment, we will be right back. Well, I don't know which part it froze on. I wasn't really paying that much attention, but Mike, you want to show people what...
Yeah, in case you missed it, Heather was kind enough to give me this gift for my birthday. It's titled Burning Man Art on Fire. So this is obviously a artistic photography book at Burning Man, which I love because that's the main reason I go to Burning Man, is for the art.
Yeah.
And it will be great to have a proper way to appreciate it all. So this was a great gift. Thank you.
And you were telling me about the photographer. Before we went to the whole technical difficulties, you were telling me about there was a photographer at Burning Man, and I don't know if you want to say it again, but I thought it was really interesting.
Okay, so at Burning Man, there's what's called, I think it's called the Central Camp. And this is like the only place where you can kind of go and chill out. And it's the only place where you can buy something, which is coffee or tea. You can also buy ice. And anyway, they had someone there who put out a sign that says, oh, I'm so-and-so. You know, he made it out to be like he was a famous photographer. And I am doing an update of this book, and he had a book on a table, and it was like this one. It was a real thick book, and it had just a bunch of pictures of people at Burning Man, and he said he wanted volunteers for his next book. So I volunteered, and I did a half-hour shoot with him, and I to be honest, I kind of hope he doesn't pick me, because well, he sent me some of the pictures by email, and I usually hate pictures of me, and I definitely hated these, so, but I don't think he's going to pick me, because the whole time he was saying, I want you, to really, how did he put it? Like, just like let go and pretend I'm not here, and I just really want to see the real you, and I'm an actuary. I don't get in touch with my soul very well, so I probably just looked like this boring bean-counting nerd, and I probably didn't fit the Burning Man stereotype.
Did you have your pie shirt on?
No. I did bring my juggling pins, and I wanted to juggle for the guy.
That would have been perfect.
Yes, because
there's your soul.
Yes, that is my soul. And he did take some pictures of me juggling, but not very many. And they said, okay, now let's do something different.
Did you have your unicycle?
I did bring it, but you had to do all the pictures in his little cubicle there. I asked to, but he says, no, we have to stay here where the lighting is good.
That would have been perfect.
Yes, I think it would have been a good change from the rest of his book.
Right.
But
Plus,
no, we had to do things his way.
Plus, you could have picked some artistic background and then have you on your unicycle juggling. That would have been an awesome freaking picture.
Yeah, he had a very plain background, and I think he was trying to make it just about the subject and not the background. But he's the expert, and I don't think this book is out yet, but
okay.
But it's called Portraits of Burning Man or something like that.
Maybe it's the same guy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, but I don't mean to talk too much about Burning Man, because we're going to talk about that on my channel next.
Right.
So we're supposed to be talking about tipping and gambling etiquette.
Not rice. So, if you have any questions on casino etiquette or tipping or anything, please put it in the comments. Looking at the comments, we have a lot of birthday celebration, happy wishes, everything got from everybody too. Paul Ray, Jimmy, Jay, so many people.
Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate it.
So, we did have this one question before we went frozen, and that was DA. And DA asks, hey Mike, can you explain why mathematicians can't crack Baccarat? And did you ever try an Excel sheet on the game like blackjack? Thanks.
Well, Baccarat is actually pretty easy to analyze mathematically, because there's only 6 cards and you just have to loop through them. I have the exact number of combinations of every event on my website. I've analyzed it a long time ago, every which way, every side bet. So I would say that it has been cracked. And maybe you mean, like, how come there's no way to beat Baccarat? But
so basically, go to Mike's website, to Baccarat, and take a look at all of his math and all of his work, right? And you should have all the information there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Blackjack is a much more difficult game to analyze.
Why?
Because there's no limit to the number of cards. You can keep hitting until you go over 21, and splitting makes it very complicated. And this rule about peaking, like if the dealer has a 10 up and just says, well, I don't have blackjack, it changes. There's no longer a 1 in 13 chance of each card, but 1 in 12, and you might say, well, that sounds obvious, but the way the computer has to think, like, I don't know total information about that bottom card, but I do know something. I know it's not an ace, so trust me, it makes the calculations more complicated.
Okay, this sounds good. Let's see if anyone else has any questions. Yeah, Dan says, too often I see poor tippers on the craps tables. And I think that's starting to be more of a common occurrence, seeing less tipping nowadays. Especially with the whole, like, 6 to 5 explosion. What do you think?
Well, I think you would know better than me. To be honest, I don't play enough to have really noticed a difference. I don't play a whole lot of craps. It wouldn't surprise me if players were holding back a little bit because the rules are getting worse. But then again, I talk to dealers and they say that the Carnival games tend to tip. Am I remembering this right? Do they tend to tip well or tip badly?
They tend to tip badly.
Okay.
Blackjack tips better.
Yeah. Well, I think it would be easy to say that in general players are going to be more generous if they're winning. And they're probably not going to be winning at Carnival games if they don't know how to play them properly.
That's true.
And they're probably not going to be feeling as generous.
Very good point.
But craps itself, I'm not really sure. But, now that I think about it, when I do see players playing, you don't see a whole lot of tipping. I think, like, after a good run, like let's say someone is shooting and they rolled the dice 20 times and finally they 7 out, that was a good run. And then the dealers will be paying everyone off. And lots of times you'll see the players throwing a chip to the dealer. You do see that, but it seems like all things considered, it doesn't tip that well. But and not that you asked, but if I may speak on behalf of the dealers, if you're going to tip in craps, don't tip on the sucker bets like the yo or the hard ways. Just give them the money or put it on the pass line, because things like the any 7 or the hot bets have a house advantage of 15% or so. So wouldn't you rather have 100% of that tip than 85%?
Yes, and here's the thing. It really just depends on the dealers. Most of the dealers, I would say about 60% of the dealers would agree with that. They would just want the tip because it's a surefire thing. However, I would say about 30% of the dealers are, 30% of dealers really enjoy gambling. Like really, really enjoy gambling to the point where they do it 8 hours a day, and then as soon as they get off, they go and gamble for another 4 or 5 hours. Like really enjoy it. And they're the ones that really like it when you play for them. They don't want, they don't want it. Why would they want the money? No, play it. Let's play. Let's have some fun. Let's, I'm bored. Let's have some excitement. It's that kind of a thing. So I think it just really depends on the dealer.
Okay. It seems to me like most of them seem kind of bored, and that's why I just give it to them directly. But I guess the best thing to do would be to just ask them what they prefer.
Here's the thing. See, when you ask a dealer if they want the tip or not, the casinos require dealers to say that they have to take it. The casinos, they don't want the players to tip the dealers when they're playing, so they have a tip or a bet right here and then a tip right here. They would rather the player give that tip to the dealer than have them actually play it on there. And the reason why is because if they win, that casino just lost $2 on that bet. That's money they're never getting back. That money is going right in the toke bucket, and that they're never going to see it again. Whereas if the player wins that $5, they know that they're going to get it back eventually because the player's going to keep playing. So it's not money lost per se. Whereas a tip, it's like money lost.
Okay, but if if the player makes a tip bet and it loses, then that's money that the casino won.
That is true, but however, the casino sees that they don't make a profit off of it. They don't see it as like a good thing for them. So much so that they created this policy, and the policy is for pretty much almost every casino. If someone asks you if you want a tip, you have to take it versus say playing it on there. You can't say play.
I did not know that. Okay, that's interesting. Jay, I would be interested to know, not to say you're wrong, but your take on this. Jay is a big umpity-ump banana at one of the Vegas casinos here.
Yep, Jay's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. So we answered that question right there. What is the correct tip to leave a dealer?
Well, again, Heather is the dealer, so I would definitely I would put more stock in what you say than I say, but if I may go first, I think it's, of course, depends on a lot of things, how much you're betting. A little bit should be on how well you're doing, winning or losing, but I think it should also have a lot to do with the level of the service the dealer is providing, if he or she is being friendly and running a clean game, or just standing there like a brick wall and looking bored. But how much is an appropriate tip? You know, no one. I hate to boil it down to an average, but I'm thinking maybe a half a bet to 1 bet per hour.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm extremely generous. See, here's the thing. I was born and raised here, so the tipping culture of Las Vegas is ingrained into me. So what I do is I tip all the time. Like, I'm constantly tipping because I feel that it's me and the dealer in it together. You know, it's not me versus the dealer. It's me and the dealer, and we're doing this together. So, for example, if I go and I play and I get like a blackjack, you know, then I'll, you know, make sure to tip the extra $2.50 or whatever. You know, if I'm doing like a $5 bet, it's not. You don't have to tip a lot. You just want to show your appreciation. So if you're betting like $5, I would say do $1, I don't know, every few hands, every half an hour, you know, every 15 minutes, you know, just every once in a while. You know, it depends on you. It's your money. If you want to tip him, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. Me, if I'm going and gambling, I just expect that tipping is part of the gambling budget, so it's just in there for me. But like I said, I was born and raised here. My idea of tipping is totally different than the rest of the world's idea of tipping.
And speaking of that, I heard you say if you don't want to tip, that's cool too.
Yeah, totally. It's your money.
I tend to think most dealers would not agree with you on that.
Okay, well, I don't care if anyone agrees or disagrees with me. Here's my philosophy on this. You worked for your money. You worked those 8 hours to get your paycheck, and if you're on the table and you're gambling, you decide what to do with your money. No one else does.
Now, what if there was a dealer here, and I'm not trying to be argumentative, but the dealer would say, I am a great dealer. I'm getting paid the minimum wage. I cannot live on that. And everyone knows that, and it's just kind of like in a restaurant, it's just expected to tip because I cannot live on minimum wage, and if dealers had to live on minimum wage, there would be no dealers.
Tipping is cool, and dealers appreciate tipping, but it is not like a waiter or waitress in a restaurant. They don't expect a 15% tip every single hand. There are dealers out there who do, just because, you know, entitled people, and they exist, and that's the way the world works. But I would say for a majority of dealers, they don't expect you to tip every hand, and they understand, you know, you have highs and lows. So if you tip on the highs and don't tip on the lows, no problem, totally cool, you know?
I'm sure they wouldn't disagree with that, but I think if you had someone who was playing for hours and winning and never tipped a dime, they wouldn't like it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm one of those dealers who would get pissed off at like a player. I had a player, it was on Let It Ride. They won $40,000 and they tried to tip me $40. I'm not one of those dealers that like really cares if the player tips or doesn't tip. If they tip, cool. If they don't tip, that's cool too. But dude, that pissed me off. That really did piss me off.
Okay.
So I think it depends on the situation.
All right.
And the player.
Okay.
And the dealer. And, everyone.
All right. So it's a complicated topic.
It's a complicated topic. It's not one easy answer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what people are saying in the chats. Let's see if Jay responded, because you asked Jay that question. Yep, there you go.
What does Jay say?
So Jay says, I'm a little behind on the stream. I just heard my name mentioned. And I'm going to go back and see what the question is. Oh, here we go. We got another one. When there is a toke pool, dealers have to drop tips when they are given the option, since they cannot make the decision for all the dealers. So, does that answer the question? You want me to say that again?
Yeah.
When there is a toke pool,
Yeah.
dealers have to drop the tips when they are given the option, since they can't make that decision for all of the dealers. So
why not?
So he's saying that the dealers have the toke pool.
Yes.
And the toke pool is, let's say, 300 dealers in all three shifts. You have graveyard, day shift, and swing shift. And they're all taking their tips and putting them in their tip box or toke box. And then all that money is separated equally amongst all the dealers. So as a dealer, if I am on the table and someone's like, hey, do you want to play this, or do you want me to just give this to you? If I say, hey, play this for me, I am making that decision for all of the dealers in the casino that I want to gamble our tokes. So that's why, that's what he's saying. Like, you don't want to make that decision for other dealers. You would just take it and drop it, and that's everyone's money.
But I would say dropping it is also a decision.
But it's a surefire decision. And in the casino, a surefire win is always the best win.
So, Jay, do you think that there's this policy because the dealers like it? Because they don't want other dealers making the decision on a tip that is partially theirs?
I don't know if dealers get a decision, though. It's one of those things
Okay.
where, like, we're on the bottom of the totem pole, so we don't really get a choice in the matter. I think if we got a choice in the matter, a lot of dealers would do, like, keep our own tips. But we don't have a choice.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, enough of that topic.
Yes, definitely. Let's see what else we have. Let's see if anyone is saying any other questions. Let's see. A lot of happy birthdays.
Thanks, everyone.
And if I miss anyone's question, I'm sorry. We got a lot of questions in here, and I apologize if I miss your questions. Malik says, what are carnival games? Is that like Let It Ride or Mississippi Stud? Yep, that's what a carnival game is. It's not your core game. It's 3-card poker, Let It Ride. Go ahead and name off a few other carnival games, and I'll see if I could find another
Ultimate
question.
Texas Hold'em. You already mentioned Let It Ride, Caribbean Stud, 3-card poker. I might even say Pie Gow poker. High card flush, stuff like that. And by the way, I'm not crazy about the term carnival game, because a carnival game kind of implies that it's totally like an awful bet. But, some carnival games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em is often the best bet in the casino if played properly.
Really? Why?
Yes, because you can expect to lose only 0.53% of all the money you bet if played properly.
Now, did you say the best carnival game or the best game?
The best game, period.
Well, no, because then you have blackjack, which you can actually get all the way down to, 0.08% house edge, but it has some really crazy rules that you're not going to really find anywhere. But you could get down that low, or 0.26% at some casinos on the Strip.
Yes, that's true, and it's going to depend on the mix of games at that particular casino. But if you're at a casino where they hit on a soft 17 on every single table, then your odds are, I would submit that the odds are going to be better in Ultimate Texas Hold'em than in blackjack.
But you can find those tables in the high limit area.
Yes.
So if you're willing to spend like $100 every single bet, they do have the tables where the dealer does stay on soft 17 and have the other more favorable rules for the players.
At the big properties on the Strip,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
But at the Suncoast, they don't have a high limit room. Any place that doesn't have a high limit room, you're probably not going to find a game with where the dealer stands on a soft 17.
Yeah, I think most local casinos don't have high limit, although then you have local casinos. I don't know if you consider Palms a local casino. I kind of consider it a locals casino, but they have a high limit area.
That's true. And by the way, I was thinking that I don't have the number memorized, but if it's a double deck game and double after a split is allowed, then the house edge, I think, would get down to about 0.4%, which would be better than Ultimate Texas Hold'em.
Wow.
But I will say that at most casinos, the best game in terms of the odds is either going to be blackjack, craps, or Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and sometimes video poker, but that's really drying up.
Okay, and then with craps, that would be when you're taking true odds?
Yes, you have to take the maximum odds to hit that really low 0.5% or better overall house edge.
Okay. Does the pass line house edge ever come into a factor when you're talking about the true odds being the best bet in the house?
Oh, absolutely. And the way I categorize the overall house edge of blackjack is averaging in the pass line bet and the average amount bet on the odds. For example, if it's strict double odds, you're going to make a point 2/3 of the time. Mm-hmm. So it would be your pass line bet plus 2/3 of 2 as your average bet. And then I will look at your expected loss, which is 1.41% divided by that whole average bet. That's how I do it.
Cool. Right on.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So Jay responded in the chat. Jay says, the default decision is to drop. The dealers will make more money dropping than playing since the house edge is on every bet. That's a good point. And then let's see. We do have another question. Skittle Car asks, does there tend to be less tipping when a shuffle master machine is used?
I would kind of defer to that one to you.
Me? I don't think so. I don't think it matters.
A shuffling machine. Did he say a continuous shuffler or an automatic shuffler?
No, just a shuffle master machine.
I think he means a continuous shuffler. I tend to think most players don't like those.
Yeah,
because
that's
I
true.
think players like the break where the dealer is shuffling, and that might give the dealer a chance to have some rapport with the players,
mm-hmm.
and that might promote more tip giving.
Yep.
So, yeah, and same thing with automatic shufflers. They're totally taking out that shuffling time.
Yeah.
But also, players incorrectly think that there's more of a soul to playing a whole shoe.
That's what yeah.
And maybe if they feel that they just had a really great shoe and it's time to shuffle, then they might say, okay, it's time to tip now.
Yeah,
but with a
true.
continuous shuffler, it may seem like every hand is a completely independent thing and they just kind of forget to tip.
And that's the other thing too is when you're shuffling, a lot of players, they really like the whole shuffling because it adds the human element to it. It's not some machine and they don't know what's happening with the machine.
Mm-hmm.
They could see it actually being shuffled in front of them and
mm-hmm.
they know it's random, and I think a lot of people like that.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I know casinos hate the time that it takes to shuffle.
I know.
Because they're all about hands per hour and efficiency.
But there are some shuffling maneuvers out there, or shuffling, procedures out there that only last between 60 and 90 seconds. So if there are casinos out there who want to know about this, you could do a 6-deck shuffle, an 8-deck shuffle in 60 to 90 seconds. To look it up, I believe it is Casinoology, the very first book by Bill Zender. He talks about that shuffle in there, and I've been doing my best to learn that shuffle ever since I read about it. But there is ways to do it. Okay, I just sort of geeked out. So anyway, now that I'm going to not geek out anymore, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Let's see. More happy birthdays.
Thank you.
And then Verma Shank on Twitch says, I'm coming to Vegas for the first time in August from Europe. Ooh. So we really don't tip. That makes sense. Yeah, they don't tip in Europe at all.
Thank you. As well you shouldn't.
How to keep everyone happy is more stressful than approaching a table for the first time. Oh yeah, because then you have players. So I get that a lot, where people don't want to play on a table because they're so scared about making anyone mad or doing the wrong thing. Definitely that happens a lot. I would say the best way to handle that is just to ask people, If you're not sure, hey, would you get upset if I say hit this 12 against the dealer's 4 or 5? Are you going to get upset about that? No, I'm not going to get upset. Go for it, whatever. Or, yeah, I am going to get upset. Don't do that. Okay, I know. That's cool. Awesome. Won't do that. So if you ask, I think that's helpful.
I have somewhat of a different opinion there.
Okay.
I am very big on making the right play all the time, and you should not let other players tell you or influence you or pressure you to make a bad play.
I agree with that.
And if I am on third base and I get 2 4s and the dealer is showing a 6 and double after a split is allowed, I am splitting those 4s, and I don't care if I get begged not to do it, because that is the right play. And the most important thing I would have to say is to just worry about your own cards and don't bother anybody else. It is a myth that bad players cause everyone to lose, so just mind your own business. Mm-hmm. But how should you handle it if other players are badgering you about your play? I say badger them back. You know, I used to be more of a pacifist and ignore it, but now I would be aggressive and say, no, look, this is the mathematically best play. If you don't like it, there's plenty of other tables here. But I'm going to play by the book.
I would probably move. If I was having a problem with a player and they were being really mean to me and telling me how I should play and everything, I would probably move to a different table. And going back on what you said too, I totally agree with you. And I want to reiterate the point, it's your money. So you do what you want, don't let the player tell you what to do. I completely agree with you on that, totally. The one thing I don't agree with you on is when you go to the table, you should always play correctly 100% of the time, and this is the reason why I don't agree with you. So blackjack, as with any game in the casino, you go and you play for entertainment value. You're supposed to go and you're supposed to play for fun. Part of that fun is sometimes hitting things when you're not supposed to and doing things when you're not supposed to, and you have fun with it because that's part of it. Now, if you know that that's going to piss you off, I highly recommend sitting at a table where there's no players, so that way you don't get anyone pissed. But going to a casino and playing the wrong way, if you understand that you're playing the wrong way and you make the choice, that's okay because I want to have fun and this is my way of having fun, then I think that is more important than, say, playing right 100% of the time. And that's what I think.
Okay, that is a good point. And whether I'm counting or not, if I know a play is completely borderline, then I might ask the dealer, or if another player seems nice, I might ask, how would you play this? And then do whatever they say, but only if it's a borderline case. Now, I will say this comes up in Pai Gow Tiles a lot, which is a much more complicated game, and sometimes, and their Asian players definitely get annoyed if white players like me don't play by the traditional Asian strategy.
That's very true.
So, if I have what I think is a borderline hand, I am going to just ask another player, as long as he's being nice to me, how would you play this? And then do it however he or she recommends. Because I think that does bring goodwill to the table.
Cool.
So it depends on the situation.
Totally. Let's see what you guys are saying in chat. Let's see. So Death Yoke on Twitch says, amazing, man. Honestly thinking of using my GI Bill at UNLV to look into the actuary sciences. That's really cool. And I'm sure I totally butcher that. Actuarial. There you go. Sciences. Any advice for a pure math major who's interested in actuarial sciences?
Absolutely. First, thank you for even considering it. One of the bad things about being an actuary is so few people know what an actuary is, so you're going to have to spend your whole life explaining what it is to people at cocktail parties.
Wait, I don't know. What is it?
Actuaries are mathematicians that crunch a lot of statistics for business purposes, and a very good example of that would be the people that determine how much you pay for insurance.
Really?
Because, for example, life insurance is a really simple example. You can look at a person's, to make it really simple, You can just look at their gender and their age, and you can have a very good estimate how long they will live. And the more information you put into that, like the person's health and where they live and things like that, you can make an even better prediction. So life insurance is very easy to price out. It gets much more complicated with things like car insurance, but not that all actuaries work in insurance. They do a whole host of things, like making sure that, say, a company has enough money for their health plan and things like this. Actuaries help people manage and companies manage risk.
Okay. So have you ever used any of your science or knowledge in a normal daily way? For example, oh, I don't like that person. Let's see how long that person's going to live. Oh, good, they're going to die soon. That makes me feel better.
Well, I will say that when it's anyone else's birthday, I always tell them how much longer they are going to live. And this really annoys two types of people. It annoys women and it annoys Asian people. So I'm most inclined to do it to them.
Oh my God!
And I'm sorry to stereotype, but sometimes it's just true.
Oh, okay. Cool. So I hope that answers your question.
No, I didn't even answer the man's.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, he or she asked. I forgot.
Oh, let's see. Okay, so honestly thinking of using my GI Bill at UNLV to look into the actuarial sciences. Any advice for a pure math major who's interested in those said sciences?
Okay.
And then he also said, it's so intriguing and the pay is amazing. It's unbelievable how much you can make with just an undergraduate degree.
Yes, absolutely. So I highly recommend anyone who's studying math to not just consider actuarial science, but I would have a good reason to not go into actuarial science. I really think that that's the best path that a degree in math leads you to. And how should you prepare for that? You should start taking the actuary exams while you're still in college, preferably. I would look into maybe getting an internship with an actuarial company, anything like that.
What are some companies that would hire you then?
Certainly any insurance company is going to have actuaries, and a lot of financial planning companies hire actuaries too, and then there's also government actuaries like me. But hotspots for actuaries are, I know San Francisco and Boston hire a lot of them.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, and it's a great profession. It pays well. It's fairly low stress. You are going to be working with a lot of, I would say, very smart people. I think very nice people. I have met a lot of actuaries, and they may not be the most exciting people, I'm sorry, but they are really nice, smart people that I like to hang around. And yeah, definitely look into it if you are studying math or thinking of studying math.
So how much do they normally get, like, for an undergraduate degree? Like, because he said it was a lot of money for just an undergraduate degree. So is it 30,000, 50,000, 60?
I hate to throw out a number because I graduated from college in 1988 and haven't been keeping up with this, but I tend to think that a entry-level actuary, no experience, but a few exams and a college education, I tend to think would start at around 50 or 60,000.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
And they move up fast.
Okay.
So
is it like a normal job where it's like a 9-to-5 job 5 days a week and you're in like a cubicle at some office?
Yes, it's very predictable hours. I don't think you're going to be asked to work overtime a lot. Hopefully you won't be in a cubicle. Hopefully they will have enough respect for you to put you in a room with a door. Maybe not, but
can you work at home? Is that something you could do and like work from home?
I think that this is something, I know that where I worked, I just went back to Baltimore and visited my fellow actuaries, and they said that they have started and implement a program where you can work from home part of the time. And I think with any job that's very sedentary, I think that it's kind of a new thing is allowing work from home, which I think is great.
Okay, cool. Right on. So let's see what people are saying in the comments. I think we got pretty much everyone on Twitch done. Let's go to YouTube. And lot more happy birthdays for you.
Thanks, everyone. I've never had so many happy birthdays before.
Yeah. Well, I guess you need to do a live stream on your birthday every year.
That'll be a good tradition.
Right? Let's see. So we have some more questions. Hunter Dylan says, happy birthday. I have a question for both of you. What is the biggest win/craziest thing you have ever witnessed in a casino?
Do you want to go first?
Okay, so I've seen a lot of really crazy stuff in a casino. I've seen people having sex in a casino, taking a crap in the casino. I saw a high roller on the craps table literally take a crap and like shake it out of his leg and continue playing, and it smelled so bad that we actually had to comp him a free jogging suit and stop the game. No one could do anything with the game while he went and cleaned up and changed and came back, and that was like how bad it was. Yeah, I've seen, like, I was working, I probably shouldn't say the casinos. I was working at one casino, and I was going to break one day, and I look over and there's a slot machine, and these people were just having sex on the slot machine. Guys sitting down, women sitting on top. They're going up and down, and she's sitting there on the slot machine, playing on the slot machine the entire time. And it was graveyard, so I'm like, oh, hell no. And I'm going to break. I'm not doing this shit. I'm going to break. Screw that. So I just let them go ahead and have it, and I went to break. I'm like, I'm not interfering. I'm not doing anything like that. So I'd say that was probably like some of the craziest things I've seen in a casino.
I would have been happy to sit there and watch. At least I think I would have, depending upon certain things.
They weren't bad looking. They really weren't that bad. They were old. I mean, like, I would say, well, I can't say old because now I'm like their age. Okay, I can't say old. I'm that age. They were like in their 40s, 30s, 40s area, somewhere around there. So I was like in my early 20s. So I'm like, oh, those people are old. Yeah.
Can you whisper me the casino? That would be the kind of place where you would see that.
Really? You think so?
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was a good casino.
No, I meant that not in a bad way, but the kind of place that has a reputation for a little bit of debauchery.
Yeah, the reputation. I completely agree with that. Okay, let's see what else you guys are saying. Oh, wait, you didn't answer. What was the...
Yeah, I you know, for having been gambling now for 32 years, 33, I can't do math. I don't really have a great deal of super stories. I have a lot of. Well, I do know that I saw someone die at the Las Vegas Hilton, and it was again at a slot machine. And I didn't actually see them go from living to the other side, but I was just like on my way out, and a woman who was at a slot machine just suddenly fell over and hit the floor. But there was no screaming or anything. She was completely motionless. And a good Samaritan came along and tried to give her CPR, but you could see that her body was just not moving at all. And you could tell from her eyes were looking like all these wonky angles and she was pale, that she had been gone for a while. And so she must have been playing that slot machine, died at the machine, and probably sat there for who knows how long, no one noticing it, until she finally fell over.
Oh my God. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You see some really crazy stuff in the casino, I swear.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I've seen a lot of very rude behavior. I've seen casinos put up with a lot more than I think they should, especially from abusive players. Yeah. But I've seen a lot of fun stories, but no, I don't have any like good celebrity stories or anything like that.
I do. I don't know if I could say her name though.
Maybe you can just say a celebrity.
Okay, a celebrity that nobody really likes, that's a woman that looks really good. But she didn't really do anything. Like, I don't know. Anyway, that should give you enough of a hint. So, she was at the casino that I told you for the other story.
Uh-huh.
That casino. It was the same exact casino. She was at that casino. It was her sister's 21st birthday party, and she is walking from the pit to wherever. I was going on break again. And she trips and falls flat on her face. Skirt goes over her head. She has no underwear on at all. And she is so drunk that she can't get herself back up. So she's on the ground and she's like wailing and throwing her arms around and making a big old fuss and everything. So nobody helps her up. Finally, a cocktail waitress comes over, helps her up, and she's like, "Don't touch me. You just want to touch a celebrity. Get away from me. How dare you?" You know? And yeah, and I look over at her like bodyguard, and I'm like, "What the?" And he's like, "That's why we're not allowed to touch her. We're not allowed to help her. We can't talk to her. We can't do any of that. We would get fired. That's why none of them helped her up." He's like, "This is not the first time it's happened. It happens quite a bit." It's like, wow, that's just insane.
I would be thankful if someone tried to help me.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no decency at all. So that's my celebrity story. That's probably the best celebrity story I got.
Can you whisper to me who it is?
Paris Hilton?
Yeah, that's that would have been my first guess.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't have a very high opinion of that person. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chats. Let's see, more happy birthdays.
Thanks, everyone.
Lots more happy birthdays. Let's see, what do we have? In craps, and okay, so Dane asks, in craps, I'm the shooter. Should I throw the dice or just lob them?
So lob or kind of scoot him down the table.
I think that's what he's saying.
What do the dealers like? Don't they like it when they...
They like it when you just throw it at the back of the wall. So you hit the back of the wall. Don't hit the chips. Don't hit the players. Don't hit the dealer. Try to hit the back of the wall. Some players like to... I think that's what he's talking about. You take the dice and you lob, so you like throw up like that kind of a thing. I think that's what he's talking about. Dealers don't really mind that. They just don't want it hitting the chips or hitting the people or anything like that.
Yeah, I like to lob.
You like to lob too? But
isn't there more of a chance of it hitting chips if it's scooting down the whole table as opposed to landing?
It depends on where you're aiming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to aim right where the back wall touches the felt. But I would say, please don't take forever to set the dice and do that whole dice influencing routine.
And then
very annoying.
It, and then but you have to blow on it, and you have to blow, and you have to rub it. It's like, oh Jesus, just throw the dice.
Yes, just throw the dice.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see if we have any other questions here. Let's see. A lot of people saying hi. Ha! We had a couple guesses that were correct. Let's see. Hunter says, "Thank you for answering my question. Hope you have a great birthday, Mike. In all your time gambling, what has been your biggest single win?"
Let's see. I know I won $40,000 on a Royal once at the New York. I once had $300,000 depend on the turn of a card. I was in a baccarat tournament, and I bet everything on banker in the last hand, which I was allowed to do. And had banker come up, I would have won the whole thing, $300,000, but the player won.
Oh,
so
man.
that's certainly my worst bad beat story. I have had incidents in the Super Bowl, often with the very first score that either won or lost me huge amounts of money. But yeah, no real great stories there. In general, I'm kind of a conservative gambler and don't like volatility.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool.
So I try to avoid it wherever I can.
Very cool. Let's see if anyone has any other questions. I think If I didn't get to your question, if I didn't answer or Mike didn't answer your question and you're still waiting, write it in the comments again so that way we could see. I think we went through everyone's comments. I think we answered everyone's questions, and we have 2 minutes left.
Can we put in a plug for my show again?
Go for it.
Okay, so for any latecomers, I'm going to be doing another live stream at my channel, The Odds Must Be Crazy, right after this. So I hope to see you over there.
And we're going to be talking about
Burning Man. Yes, I went to Burning Man last year, and I get asked questions about it a lot, so I hope to get your Burning Man questions.
So if you guys have any Burning Man questions, come by and check us out. We're going to be on for probably, another hour or so.
Yep.
So it's going to be fun. Cool. Okay, let's see if you guys are saying anything else in the chat before we go for the day. Fun and Games says, happy birthday.
Thank you.
How many standard deviations do you need to perform below the mean before you suspect foul play?
That is a very good question. And I've had to wrestle with this a lot. I take casino cheating very seriously, and I get accusations of it sometimes. And I have called out a number of internet casinos for cheating. But the question is, at what point should I make a formal accusation? At what point does it go beyond just very bad luck on the player's part to being obviously cheating? And, there is no great answer. I do take different things under consideration, like do I have other corroborating evidence? How trustworthy is the source? Things like that. But I would definitely say that I would be highly suspicious at 4 standard deviations. And at 5, I would say they're cheating. I would point my finger at them. So between 4 and 5, the gray area is somewhere between 4 and 5.
Okay, cool. And we got one last question, and then we're going to wrap it up for the day. This is our last question for the entire day, and it's a really, really easy one. Chuck asks, what is your favorite color?
I haven't been asked that since I was about 5.
Well, I figured we ended on a nice, easy, fun note,
Okay. Well, if forced to a decision, I think I like blue the best.
Cool. Why?
I certainly like a mixture of all colors, and if everything were blue, it would get very boring. But I think that blue to me conveys calm and relaxation and taking it easy, which is kind of the state of mind I like to be in most of the time.
Cool. Relaxed, mellow, chill.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you have a favorite one?
Yes, and people usually don't like my answer. My favorite color is rainbow. And yes, that is a color. Bite me if you don't think that's a color. It's a color. So... and the reason why that's my favorite color is because I'm an artist and I love painting and drawing, and I use all of the colors, and each one is specific for specific things, and I love all of them for different reasons. So the rainbow is my answer, plus white. Okay, when you're doing light and it goes in a prism, and the prism, it comes out and it's the rainbow, it's one color. That's just one color right there. You have white, which is the light. That's the color. Put it in the prism, you get the rainbow. So technically, yes, rainbow is a color. Bite me. Okay.
That's a good point. We certainly agree that we would prefer a mixture of all colors as opposed to one color all the time.
Definitely.
I do disagree still about rainbow being a color, but you make a valid point. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, Heather, by the way, she absolutely is an artist, and I'm proud to have some of her work in my house. Yeah. And yes.
That was fun. I enjoyed painting that for you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, she did a great Wonder Woman painting for me.
Woo. So let's end it. That is it for the day. Happy birthday, Mike!
Thank you so much to everyone who wished me a happy birthday.
We can't end the live stream until we sing happy birthday to you. I didn't sing happy birthday to him. You can't go
now
without
I'm going to be
singing.
embarrassed.
You should be embarrassed. I can't sing. I'll be embarrassed too because I can't sing.
Well, it is optional. Let's say that.
Okay, wait. We'll just do the last line, okay? That way I won't torture everyone. Happy birthday, dear Mike. Happy birthday to you.
Thanks, Heather. And that's better than I could do.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for joining us and celebrating your birthday with us today. And thank you guys so much for coming and joining the party and having fun. And it was really, really awesome.
Thanks again, guys. And thanks for coming. Thanks for all the good birthday wishes. And hope to see you at The Odds Must Be Crazy. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
All right.
Cool.